Have to believe in myself. Okay, right. This is Kabaka Pyramid. Bigging up the Viper family. Yeah, just keep it locked right here. Rastafari I live every time. Okay, right. Immaculate. Yeah, I mean, I love being on stage. You know, between being in studio, being on stage is my favorite part about being an artist. You know, just the energy exchange with the fans. You know, you get to see, people just studying the lyrics and just really reciting the lyrics and just somebody messaged me from the show we did in Crystal Palace and said that they were in tears during the whole of my set just because of what's happening in England with all of these riots and stuff and just what the music meant to them, you know what I mean? And just, yeah, that's powerful to me. And that really gives me the energy to go on. Because touring can be rough, with the traveling and all of that. And, but when you get that energy back from the crowd and the fans on stage, is a brilliant feeling, man. Yeah, so we have our upcoming European tour in October. And we're doing 3 dates in the UK. 3 dates, 3 club dates and a festival, But yeah, just looking forward to being with the fans again and connecting. Selling merch is a very important thing that we get to do on the road too. And just building a fan base. That's constantly what we've been doing over the years, Yeah, no, it's a great feeling, man. Gang is, as you say, an inspiration. Like, a pattern a lot of my style from listening him growing up, and yeah, he also has a lot of the same influences that I have in terms of the sound of his music, the lyrical content, the beats, the kind of hip-hop fusion with reggae and dancehall and all of that. So it was a seamless kind of transition from my career from, just our label Bebe Rock and fusing into Ghetto Youths and working with Gang. Going on tour with him in 2017 was an eye-opening experience for me personally, and just watching him every night. I learned so much about how to put together my set list and my persona on stage. I took a lot from what I saw from him. And it's been growing like that from ever since. Yeah, I think that's one of the advantages that me and my team had from the beginning. We're always business minded. Yeah, we're fortunate enough to go to good schools in Jamaica, and we're educated people, so we understood that we have to take the thing serious, because we basically started from nothing, from zero fan base. We didn't really have an into the business like that, so it was like, how we're going to do this, I'm not the conventional artist anyways, back then I was closer to being a rapper than even a reggae artist. So we had to be very unique with our strategies and just getting the music directly to the people, but we're always self-sufficient, so we're like, let's form the company. Let's register the business. Let's do all of that. Let's get somebody who's going to deal with our publishing. Let's start to put out projects. We were always project-based. A lot of artists, they just voice for people and they do singles and they do jugglings and things like that. Then eventually when they get big enough, maybe they compile an album. But we started out with projects. Rebel Music, Lead the Way. And then I started to record for other people. Once people start to find out who Kabaka is. Eventually one of those people ended up being Damian Marley, and then the rest is history. No, that's what I'm saying. It's just the way how the business has evolved. Because I think back in the day there were more albums. Like, obviously if you go back to the 70s, everything was albums them time, and then, somehow when the dancehall thing came through, it just came, the business took on a more short-term approach to things. It's all about having the hottest song. You go out in the street, you bust your song, then you record the song, then the song is out the next day. So it just become a thing like to get a catalog of songs. And then eventually some artists, when they get signed by big labels now, they would do albums and stuff. But a lot of people don't even really know artists for their albums. Like within the Jamaica and the diaspora, they just know songs. But the real top level artists always gave us good albums, like Till Shiloh, The Real Thing, Mind Control, Welcome to Jamrock. You know what I mean? It's like classic Capitan Prophecy, classic albums. Bounty Killer give us classic albums and things over the years. So, obviously we've seen the success of Sean and Shaggy, like stratospheric albums, album sales and all of these things. So we always judged our career path by what the top level artists are doing. we wasn't necessarily watching what everybody else is doing, just kind of on the surface level or whatever. But so it was always important for us to do projects. Yeah, I just love lyricism. Like when we got cable in '96 and we start watching BT, MTV, that's when the hip hop world kind of opened itself to us, And it's like we're watching all the rappers, but quickly I just gravitated towards the lyricists. So Wu-Tang, Mobb Deep, Big Pun. You had more like kind of complex lyrical styles coming out of the East Coast, like New York, them region there. And then you have like Common from Chicago and them kind of man where, Black Thought, the roots from Philly. But it's just this type of lyricism where really attracted me. The more complex it was, the better. I was like on Bearshare and Napster searching up Chino XL and them, just like some lyricists where you probably wouldn't even know about. Razcast, them on the Midwest and West Coast, but still the lyrical content matching up with the type of artists I was listening. So I would just go anywhere the lyrics are. Cannabis was my favorite rapper for years. Early Eminem, I'm like downloading all his freestyles. When him go on Tim Westwood and all of them kind of stuff is like, I just want to get the freestyles. I don't care about the singles. I don't care about the hit songs. Just give me the lyrics. So that was kind of what shaped me and my musical approach. So, maybe I would say I benefited a lot from evolving past that a bit, just career-wise. Because it's hard to just be a lyricist only. Like you even see where Cartel was this immense lyricist, and it's like when he started to sing and add melody, that's when he just started to dominate Jamaica totally. And then Rival with Mavado, that kind of inspired him to just sing more. And so it's kind of similar way my career took on a trajectory. The more melody I started to add, and the more simple I made the songs. Like Well Done was my first really popular solo song in Jamaica. And it's just a simple chorus. But and another interesting thing I realized, like for me, being lyrical meant being more complex. But for Jamaica, being lyrical is more about what you're actually saying and how much it connects and how witty it is. So I kind of started to bring that quality into my writing more over time. Because I was just all about how much syllables are rhyming together, and it's kind of random, like Ghostface Killer and them, man, them saying things you don't even know what them talking about, but it just sound wicked, it just sound cool. So that's kind of my style was based on a lot of that. But then that doesn't really work so much in Jamaica. It's like people have to follow along with what you're saying. You have to kind of tell a story with your lyrics. So more Biggie style as opposed to like Cannabis style. Tupac, Biggie. That's why people in Jamaica relate to those artists a lot. Because they tell stories and they paint a picture. So even working with Damian opened up a lot of that side of it more to me. Because he always paints a picture. But he's still technical, but it's all about what you're saying. There's no filler lines that don't really make any sense. It's all hitting a nail on the head with every line. There's an element of simplicity and depth. That's what kind of makes, even if you just think of pop music, it's relatable stuff, but they find a way that the lyrics are relatable, but they hit you somewhere in your soul. You're like, yeah, I really feel that. I really resonate with that. Bob Marley did that more than anyone else, in my opinion. Yo, it's so crazy. All right, so the album I probably listen the most on repeat is Supreme Clientele. Like, I don't know if I've ever listened to an album just over and over so much, because every time you listen it, you learn new lines and you're picking out new things. Like, I'm sure if I listen it now, I'll be picking up new stuff where I never really got from before. It's just a masterclass of lyricism, and no one has ever rapped like that, ever. Like Ghostface is Ghostface. Like Raekwon has a kind of similar style, but Raekwon is a little bit more understandable and more relatable. Ghostface thing is just unique, totally unique, and definitely respect. But my first favorite from Wu-Tang was, I think, Inspector Deck. And then, because he's more technical, he's kind of like the Cannabis of the group. And then Jizza was like the intellect. So Jizza became my favorite. But then, really and truly, Ghostface probably and Raekwon maybe ended up being my favorite because I just listened to them more. They gave me more content to listen to. You know, Jizza kind of stopped after a while, and in terms of just stuff, I was really excited to listen. But yeah, Wu-Tang, I could talk about Wu-Tang for days. So Iron Man album, classic. But it's so funny. I think Raekwon outdid Ghost and Iron Man, and I think Ghost outdid Ray and Only Built for Cuban Links too. I would love to do albums like that. You know, obviously, you know, you have like Chronic's Protege, Dre Island. I would do albums with all of them. But one person I have so many songs built up with that I literally could have 8 tracks towards the album right now, and that's Pressure. Like, Pressure is just an artist where I just gel with, just a person where it's just my brother. Like, before I even know him, he was my brother. And since we connect, it's like that. So I would love to even do an album with Pressure and just tour with him, and just because him bring the vocal, but him have the lyrics at the same time, him have the fire, him have everything, you know. And it's like, yeah, we have so many songs together already. I think I want to do another album first, and then maybe after that, who knows, you know, who knows. But I could even do an album where he's like a distant relative, where I'm just rapping. We could do something like that too. And he's the Damian and I'm the Nas, you know. It's simple, it could be that. So we'll see. So when I was young, I would go visit Florida regularly. I did like 2 years of college in Florida. And then I worked for a year. So that was after high school in Jamaica. My whole, you know, primary school to high school was in Jamaica. And then spent like 3 years in Orlando. But I was always visiting the States. 2000s was crazy. Like, the biggest influence on my life and my career is Sizzla. So, like, obviously when The Real Thing album, Sizzla just dominated the whole scene, you know. But he was also dominating the dancehall side as well. You know what I mean? He just had the biggest song on every rhythm. You know what I mean? Him and Capleton, both of them kind of dominated both reggae and hip-hop. And dancehall at the same time. You know, Sizzla even dabbled in some hip-hop too. It's just my artist. That's just my artist. You know what I mean? And yeah, you know, Sean was doing crazy things when Give Me the Light Bus and then Get Busy, and, you know, all of them songs that just took off. That was interesting to watch. You know, and then you see Wayne Wonder, you know, Busway and Elephant Man, and everybody he opened the door for so many artists. And then, you know, you watch Shaggy with Hot Shots and, you know, Diamond, and it's like you're trying to process, like, just a life-changing thing for so many people. Everybody who involved with that album, their life was changed, kind of thing. And yeah, we've just seen that the business evolve so much over the time, you know. I have a couple dancehall songs over the years, but the thing is, to me, the genre you represent is kind of the culture you represent. So regardless of if it's a dancehall beat, I will always be seen as a reggae artist because that's the culture I represent. Even if I sing on a dancehall beat, it's still reggae culture. You know, and use an example, like when you think about Coffee, most people think of her as a reggae artist. You know, even though her big songs are on dancehall sounding rhythms. But the culture where she represents musically is reggae, just in terms of the positive nature of the songs and the messaging in the songs and things. So it's a similar way with me. Like, even if I touch a couple dancehall rhythms over the years, like Lock Down the Place and No Hype and some of these songs where I did, people just, it's almost like they're not really interested in me from a dancehall side. It's like they know me as a reggae artist. So that's always been kind of the vibe where I'm feeling like people kind of have me in this box already. So if I do dancehall stuff, maybe not resonating. And then when you think about the type of stuff where it's being talked about in the dancehall, it's like I don't really resonate with it so much. So, you know, for me, it would be a lot of out-the-box type of things within dancehall. It's like people are saying, oh, them tired of the fire burn thing them now in a dancehall now. And then another time them say, oh, nobody now burn the fire again. So it's like, want, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, early in my career though, I had a lot of dancehall songs, like experimenting, working on my vocals and thing, and, you know, yeah, just different vibe, different expression. Yeah, no, I think about it. Every what do you call them, bio, and every time I've described myself, I've always included the hip hop influence because it's been such an important thing for me. I've never lost sight of it or tried to hide it or, because it's an interesting thing. Like, a lot of people see reggae and hip hop as competing genres. There are a lot of places where there's only a certain amount of radio time, and it's like people have been fighting for reggae to get their slot, whereas major labels have been pushing for hip hop. So even to my detriment, I've been vocal about my hip hop nature because some people, they don't get it. They're like, yeah, yo, I'm not too into the hip hop thing, Ray. But like for me, I just love hip hop that much where I kind of stand by it as a part of my influence and my journey, But dancehall as well because I've never been like a singer. I'm more a DJ, which is like a dancehall type of delivery style. So it's really, I DJ like a dancehall artist, but I just represent the messaging of reggae, the culture of reggae. But a lot of the sonics is still hip hop. I haven't dabbled because it kind of evolved into the kind of trap expression. I didn't dabble too much into that. I have 1 and 2 songs and kind of trap influence beats, but definitely like my thing is a fusion of like, I would say 90s, 2000s reggae with like 90s hip hop. That's kind of the foundation for me, And to me, those kind of styles are always relevant. Anytime you drop back in anything with sound like that, it still works. A lot of people sampling stuff from the 90s and 2000s even now, and it works, So, yeah, there's always... But a lot of the modernization in my music is in the content. Like, not a lot of people are talking about ancient Egypt and Kemet and pyramids and things like that. Because there's this biblical thing with Rasta, and it's like Egypt was seen as bad. So it's like nobody not really talking about those type of things. But I was open with that. People talking about consciousness and chakras and yoga and meditation. That's a modern type of almost new age-ish in a way. We're not going to say woke. We're not going to go woke with it. But it's like a new age kind of thinking that we bring into the music. So a lot of people appreciate that side of things. Some people don't, Some people is more purist. They just want things to stay the way it was in the 70s and, But we've never really stuck with that. Yeah, there's more pressure for sure. Like, the songs I record, I'm always recording. So I've never stopped. But there's a lot more scrutiny now. Like right now, normally... Under normal circumstances, we'd probably have released some new material this year. We've done some collaborations and stuff, juggling. Some nice music has been coming out, but more from the collaboration side. But normally, we'd have probably just started dropping songs, testing out the market. But it's like, no, I'm like, I need to get all these songs together. We need to have a listening session. We need to like really strategize and, That's kind of the pressure coming from the Grammy, and really wanting to level up again, and just be more focused. Yeah, so I probably don't drop any new music till next year, till 2025. It's just I'm working on my sound now as a producer as well, kind of fine-tuning that. I've always produced over time, but like now I'm taking it more serious. Like working with Gang and kind of seeing his attention to detail is like now I'm kind of bringing that to my production. And then now we link up back with Gang and then see, where we're at, and what kind of sound we want to develop outside of these stuff I've been working on, and then kind of fine-tune and just send out music after that, from the beginning. Yeah, Fruity Loops, FL3, those days, Acid Pro, Cool Edit, them days. We've been, making beats. Started with the computer era. Like, I don't know about the tape and... the 16 track and the 4 track and now. We never come from those days. But, I've been making beats, but I never learned it professionally. It was always just, my brother is the one who started it and he kind of taught me some things and then just kind of went from there. But I've always put more of my energy into being an artist. So it's really trickled over time, just learning about production. But then, every time I get back to production, it's like there's a new wave of stuff happening. So I have to relearn these different types of snare drums and these different types of... I had to learn 808 bass and them thing, whereas, I still was dealing with boom bap and, So it's always an evolving thing, whereas a producer now is spending all their time just working on beats. So, you know, yeah, it's a thing where I've had to work on my confidence with too. I'm always second guessing my own production, but sometimes when I just keep it simple, just sample some records, just add a kick and a drum, like that's probably me at my best, just like, sampling some stuff, kind of like my first songs like Rebel Music and those days. It was just sampling. I was using like Ableton from 2010. Yeah, when most people are still, using Pro Tools, Logic, all of them things, I was on Ableton. I was never the type for like. So I'm more, alright, as a Aries, as like a fire sign, I'm more in the moment. I'm just thinking about what we can do now. You know what I mean? Like Grammy and them thing is like, yo, if we bust big later down, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, maybe them things will happen, but to actually reach that point and like, yeah, for experience, I was a surreal feeling. It's like I was almost confused. It's like this thing is just like processing the emotions of that. Nah, man, it was an intense thing. I think most people probably have what you say, like they're planning out that they're working towards the Grammy as this is what we're working, or maybe Billboard, or these milestones. But it's like me, I always felt like I'm so different from everybody else in the industry. It's like as long as we doing what we love, everything else is like a bonus. You know what I mean? Whatever we don't want to give us as accolades, we'll take it, But it's like I just want to be able to do what I do and earn a decent living and help out my family and them kind of things. That's really what we've been doing it for, And to spread the message. It has always been about the message. So to do it the way I did it, the way me and my team did it, and get the Grammy, it just means so much more to us and everybody else. Remember, obviously, reggae as a genre originated from Jamaica, and we own it like that. We know that for sure. But the Grammy is a US organization at the end of the day, and Soulja is a band where they've done a lot of work over the last, how many years? 20 odd years they've been doing their thing, you know what I mean? And they also pay a lot of respect to Jamaica. Them come Jamaica, try and learn the culture. When they do their interviews, they talk about, that this is Jamaican music that they're doing. So it's not like you have other people from other genres who taking crazy from yard and not saying anything about it. Won't say anything or call any names, but you know what I mean? So I do at least respect that about them. And they did a very strategic thing. On their album, they featured all of the biggest names from the US kind of reggae scene. All of the top name bands, the Stick Figures, Revolutions, Calibers, all of them were on their album. So I don't know the ins and outs, but I can just imagine when it's voting time, everybody teaming up, you know what I mean? And that's a kind of community type of approach to things. And yeah, they've been doing reggae for 20 odd years, but they've never gotten any type of recognition for it. They're doing their version of it, So it's like they probably were like, yo, we are go for this one, we are go for this one. So it's like, I say, you know what, I'm not kill them feet, just big up on yourself, congrats. But we had to take it back to the Jamaican side of things, and that's what we were proud of doing, you know what I mean? The system is not really set for Jamaican artists to thrive in the US. The whole visa situation, and then the censoring of content and fighting out artists, because they're expressing certain ideas, agendas against what the artists them want to talk about. A lot of those things slowed up the reggae industry in Europe and in US. So you had these bands, there was a void. You know what I mean? And these bands saw that there was a void. They grew up listening to Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, Dennis Brown, Don Carlos, all of these artists. They're in their garages playing music, they're their best interpretation of reggae. So it's like, and then they realize that there's this gap wide open. So it's like, they're like, why we don't just do it? And then they have this business structure around their thing, and it's all about business, it's all about ticket sales, it's all about numbers. They're not so focused on the charts and like having hit songs or doing radio or anything like that. They're just, let me get albums out to our fans directly, and I actually respect that approach to it. Even an artist like me who has never had the big hit song success, things like that, like this kind of album approach, directly, building the fan base, getting the email list, selling the merch, all of those things. We take a lot of that from observing them, and they've seen us do it, because these bands, they used to open up for Melody Makers and Stephen Marley and Damian and them back in the day, and they watched and they learned from them. But then they kind of hone their craft and hone their process, and yeah, it's an interesting thing to watch. It's an interesting thing to watch. So I try to take from everybody. I try to take from what we're doing in Jamaica, what's happening in UK, what's happening in Europe, what's happening in US, East Coast, West Coast, and just try and see how we can develop the whole industry. It was from the late 90s. How it actually happened is, like, 98 World Cup, I kind of had an appreciation for Henry. France was, obviously they won that World Cup. And me and my brethren them usually go over one of our friends' house and watch football games. Everybody in my brethren them link was United fans. Me I decide say no, me nah go follow United. Arsenal to my thing. And from like the 90s come right up, and then I started to realize that, yeah, this is the type of football I like. It's like this attacking, flair, possession football, like, quality, over this kind of brute force, just like, I go just, like just fight my way through. It was always finesse and precision, like, yeah, and then you really appreciate certain baller and, Bergkamp, Henry, all of them, man, they come right up to Fabregas and come right up, and it's just been Arsenal from them time, for sure. Gunners all the way, and we are winning this year. I don't talk it. Title, it took 20 years, it took 20 years, but now we are get it back, we are get it forward, that's it there.